Hi, second graders, it's time for writing again. So the other day you got to draw your monster, and in drawing your monster, you were actually doing one of our pieces of our puzzle for our story elements. You were creating one of your characters, and it was a very important character because this was the monster that is going to go missing in our story. And so it was really important for you to make this monster really intriguing to your reader, or really interesting. Now today we're actually going to be working on another piece of our story puzzle, and this piece is called setting. So the setting of a story is a really important story element. A lot of times stories don't take a lot of words to develop the setting, especially in children's books. A lot of times in children's books, the setting might be shown in pictures. Now, the setting is extremely important because by looking at the setting, it sets the mood for the reader. The reader might be scared, they might be happy, they might be excited based on what they see in the setting. Let's go ahead and take a look at my anchor chart and go in a little bit deeper into what it means to create a setting. The setting of a story is an intricate, extremely important piece of our story element. The setting tells us the place, the time, and the environment of a story. By place, we mean where all the action occurs. It could occur in a house, in a store, in a jungle, on a boat. It also, a lot of times, tells us the time of when the action is occurring, morning or evening. It could be a season, summer, winter, or fall. It could be a year, 2020 or 1805. It also normally sets up an environment. Is it cold? Is it dark? Is it hot and sunny? The way the author sets up the environment really affects the story and also gets us ready for what's going to happen in the story. A lot of times the setting can change in a story, and it might change because the time of day is changing or the year changes, but sometimes it can also stay the same throughout the whole story. As we know, and from the books we've read, characters react to their setting. When we look or think about our book, I Need My Monster, our main character, Ethan, is scared. The setting of where it takes place is in Ethan's bedroom. We know it's nighttime and his parents are already in bed, and we know it's very dark and it's spooky. The author really sets up a great setting for this story so that we're prepared for the events that occur. We're going to go ahead and write a setting for our monster story, and we're going to use pictures and clues and words to create this setting, and that way we can draw our readers into our story so that they're ready for the events that are going to occur. To begin writing, I took out my reading, writing, composition book and opened it up to the next available page. I then put a heading, and my heading is setting. I then put my 3 categories that I'd like to write about, and that's the place, the time, and the environment. You'll learn one thing about Mrs. Clune is she loves to color coordinate. So I put different colors for each of the different parts of the setting that I'll be writing about. First, I'm going to be thinking about the place. What I'm thinking is that since we're writing a story very similar to I Need My Monster, the place is going to be, for me, is going to be in my child's bedroom. So it's going to be in George, a 7-year-old's bedroom on the third floor of an old colonial house. That last part I made up, but I just wanted to make it a little bit more exciting. So let me go ahead and write that down. So then I went ahead and wrote that. And a colonial house, in case you're wondering, is just a type of house. It's a style of house, and it actually dates back into the 1870s, which just means that it's an older house. And I thought that might make my setting a little bit scarier. Now I'm going to go ahead and write down the time of the story. Since it's bedtime and we want it to be a little bit scarier, it has to be late enough that parents are asleep too. So I'm going to set my timing to be about 11 p.m. when I got up to get a drink of water. You'll see that when I wrote it, I actually added on a school night. That's only because I think people go to bed a lot earlier on school nights. And now I'm going to write about my environment. Well, I'm going to make it I think it's going to be a dark, stormy, cold night. And that just adds, again, a little bit more spookiness to the story for our reader. And there you have it, the 3 elements of a really good setting. Now I'm going to put it all together, and below here, just write a short little paragraph or just add those 3 sentences together to develop my setting. Now remember, it's easy to keep your setting simple. I kept mine right in the bedroom, just like the story I Need My Monster. Because if we get too elaborate, it sometimes takes away from the whole idea of the story, or the beginning, middle, and end of the story. So we want our environment or our setting to really capture the reader's attention, but we don't want it to take away from the action of the story. Now I put it all together. It was a dark, cold, stormy night around 11 p.m. on a school night. George was in his bedroom, which is on the 3rd floor of his colonial house in Camas. I added in Camas just because I figured my readers could relate with that and they would have a connection to the story. If you also notice, I actually started out with my environment or the what of the setting, just because I thought it would flow better. And then I added in my time, and then I added in the actual place. So now you guys are going to go ahead and write your setting. I'm going to put this document in Seesaw so you can refer to it, and you can definitely use this as a really good guide for writing your setting. So I'd like you to write your setting with a place, time, and environment, and then if you have time, draw a picture of your setting as well. Then you can go ahead and turn that in Seesaw. So there'll be a Seesaw activity, but the activity is just this, just writing out your setting. So you can do it in your notebook and take a picture. I think that might be the easiest way to do it. Have fun.